Okay, on 82, he says, this is what we waited for, he thought, so now let us take it, make him pay for the line, he thought, make him pay for it. And this is where the true fight begins. And going directly to 84, this is the most important quote in the novel, it seems to me, and surely the most widely used quote of Hemingway's. And it's at the bottom of 84. Would anyone care to guess what that quote might be?
It is not bad, he said, and pain does not matter to a man.
Yes, it is not bad, he said, and pain does not matter to a man. But that's like the most manliest quote ever, right? Yeah, it is. And again, this is like the golden rule of man rules with Hemingway. And is he's not saying, God, I wish this class was like filled with my friends that I know have seen the same movies as I have. He's not saying that pain doesn't matter like Patrick Swayze. Has everyone seen Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze where he's got the mullet and he's a bouncer? That was like my Bible when I was a kid. Okay, good. Right, like he gets all he's like this. He's a bouncer, and every time he gets cut up, he goes to the hospital and he carries his own medical files with him and stuff. It's really ridiculous. But this doctor, which happens to be a gorgeous woman, goes in there and starts. He's going to give him a shot to staple his rib cage back together, and she says he doesn't like shots, and she says it's going to hurt, and he says pain. He goes, pain don't hurt. That was Patrick Swayze's Oscar-winning line. Was pain don't hurt, which I thought was awesome when I was 6 years old. But yeah, and so he's not. I mean, he's not saying that pain doesn't hurt. Pain doesn't matter in the sense that he can't feel it or anything like that. But what he's saying is that pain is a good thing, which we discussed. Or this is Hemingway, not Patrick Swayze. I'm talking about Hemingway. Thinks that pain is a good thing, and that pain doesn't matter in the sense that it shouldn't sidetrack you from your goals. I mean, that's what we discussed earlier. Is that pain is the best way to know that you're alive. I mean, if you're feeling pain, then you are alive. And the separation of pain in the sense that pain from being injured or pain from being wounded emotionally or physically is much different from pain like a discomfort, which is more along the lines of what Hemingway talks about. And it's the idea that discomfort doesn't matter to a man, because that's what we need on a daily basis, is to be uncomfortable and to be pushed outside of our comfort zones. So he's not going all Dalton, Patrick Swayze, and Roadhouse here. On 87, there's a brief moment of weakness, I guess, we talked about with the prayer. He says, God, help me endure. I'll say 100 Our Fathers and 100 Hail Marys, but I cannot say them now. Consider them, he thought. Consider them said, he thought. I'll say them later. Now here, a brief moment of weakness, but it's slightly different. It's not quite as selfish as the first one, because the first time he prayed, what did he pray for? I'll wait. There you go. Yeah, he prayed for the death of the fish. Here, what's he praying for?
To endure.
Right, yeah, to endure. What's the difference between the two prayers? You guys are on fire this morning.
The first one was asking God to do the work for him. The second one was asking to help him to do the work. It's very good.
Exactly. Thank you.
Good job.
All right. Woo. Yeah, first one is a very, very selfish prayer, praying for the death of another creature. And this one, he's only asking for help. He's asking to survive this, which is a much, even though he's not a religious guy. I mean, it kind of makes it hypocritical. But this is a much more earnest and much more honest prayer than the original prayer. Okay, on 88, again, another little bout with pain or meditation on pain. In the middle of 88, he says, I must hold his pain where it is, he thought. Mine does not matter. I can control mine, but his pain could drive him mad. You like that? Again, the idea of a man not being controlled by his pain, being able to master that and letting the others. There's a poem by Rudyard Kipling called "If" for boys, and it's a father talking to a son and saying, "If you can do these things, then you can be a man." And it's kind of under that deal when being able to control. One of the lines from the poem is, "If you can control your head, or if you can keep your head while others about you are losing theirs, then my son, you'll be a man." And it's kind of the same thing as being able to control yourself, having composure, and letting others discomposure.
If you could walk without you.
Yes.
And keep walking with the crowd.
If you can compose yourself while others are uncomposed, not decomposed, whatever that word is. English professor doesn't know that word. Right, allow others to basically take themselves apart. On 92, he's almost defeated here. He says, "You are killing me, fish," the old man thought, "but you have a right to. Never have I seen a greater or more beautiful or a calmer or more noble thing than you, brother. Come on and kill me. I do not care who kills who." Because he's developed this relationship with the fish where they're, and as I said this earlier as well, they're one and the same, right? The fish is old and strong and experienced and wise, and the old man is just the same. And so he does, like I said, have this love and respect for the fish, and it's to the point now where he just doesn't care. He wouldn't consider himself a loser or whatever if he doesn't win, because he has such respect for the fish. On 93, we see where he uses his pain. Instead of having it work against him, he uses it for his own, better interest. It says, "He took all his pain and what was left of his strength and his long-gone pride, and he put it against the fish's agony, and the fish came over onto his side and swam gently on his side, his bill almost touching the planking of the skiff, and started to pass the boat, long, deep, wide, silver, and barred with purple, and interminable in the water." Now, on 94, right, the old man has used all of his pain. He kind of summed up or summoned all of the pain and hurt that he'd had in him, and made this one great last try at the fish, and it succeeded. On 94, it says the fish came alive with his death in him, like he was, and rose high out of the water, showing all his great length and width and all his power and his beauty. He seemed to hang in the air above the old man in the skiff. Then he fell into the water with a crash that sent spray all over the old man and all over the skiff. Right, that last death rattle in the fish. Now on 95, right, because the old man doesn't really take much of a break once he gets the fish. At the bottom of 95, he says, "Get to work, old man." And he took a very small drink of water. There is much slave work to be done now that the fight is over. Right, so really it's only halfway, the work is only halfway done, because he got the fish finally, which tired him out, but now he's got to get back home before something bad happens, which does. And what happens? Right, on page 100 it says, "It was an hour before the first shark hit him. The shark was not an accident. He had come up from deep down in the water, and as the dark cloud of blood had settled and dispersed in the mile deep sea. He had come up so fast and absolutely without caution that he broke the surface of the blue water and was in the sun. Then he fell back into the sea and picked up the scent and started swimming on the course of the skiff and the fish had taken. They were talking about at the bottom of 100 and top of 101, talking about their teeth. They were shaped like a man's fingers, and they were crisped like claws. First of all, that image of the shark coming all the way out of the water, I didn't know that sharks could do that. I remember I was watching the Animal Planet years ago, and they were at the tip of South Africa, where they have these great white sharks. I didn't know they had those down there. And the sharks would literally would launch themselves all the way out of the water and come out several, I don't know, like 6-7 feet out of the water to eat like the whatever seagulls or big birds that they had down there. And I didn't know that sharks did that. Like dolphins could jump out of the water, but apparently they do, and it was kind of freaky and scary looking. And see that kind of the same thing here. Now, why would Hemingway choose to have their teeth shaped, or yes, be shaped like fingers when they are crisped? A man's fingers, particularly a man's fingers, when they are crisped like claws. Huh? Right. Yes, but why a man's fingers? I know taking his fish, but why a man's fingers? Why is it important that it's the same as man?
So he could like here I'm looking at it.
So you could what?
So he could like even though the shark guy like if he wanted to.
Well,
Are you talking like man versus like woman?
well, remember what was The Old Man in the Sea for Hemingway?
I see you as a female.
Right, but the book itself for Hemingway,
This is that.
To show us.
that's his fish, right? That's Santiago's fish was The Old Man in the Sea for Hemingway. That's his last big, truly great catch. Well, you know, the reason that Hemingway wrote Old Man in the Sea was to silence who? Okay. What do critics do? They what? They tear apart what others create. Right? They pick it apart. And so this is how Hemingway's. I mean, that's a common term that everyone uses for people that are either critics or they prey off the work of others. They call them sharks, and that's not a complimentary term when you call someone a shark. And this is Hemingway showing exactly how he feels towards critics and those really anyone that like I said, preys upon the work of others. You know, Hemingway sat down. And well, first of all, the old man has battled with every ounce of energy that he's got until he has virtually no strength left. Bless you. And you're welcome. And as soon as the work is done, right, the sharks smell the blood in the water, and they come and they tear apart all of his work, everything that he worked for. And the same deal with. Computers. Same deal with Hemingway and The Old Man in the Sea, right? He knows that as soon as he finishes this book, which it is, this is one of the most widely debated books and arguably his greatest book. That as soon as it's produced, there are going to be those that smell the blood in the water, and they're looking for an opportunity. I mean, that's what, like I said, that's what critics do. They make their living off of picking apart or destroying or tearing apart what others create, and so. As soon as Hemingway has a new book out, critics will make a lot of money tearing apart his book, when in reality they probably couldn't write half a book in the first place. So it's not, like I said, it's not an accident that he has these man-made, or these man's fingers that are crisped like claws tearing apart the fish.